Howdy folks, Kerbo here. It's time for leg 5 of the journey. Today we're heading from Clayton Municipal, Kilo Charlie Alpha Oscar, down to Double Eagle, Kilo Alpha Echo Golf. It's a pretty long flight. The first half is pretty much a straight shot and kind of boring. Then later on we get down into some mountainous terrain and we have to avoid some Class Charlie airspace. So it'll be a little bit of navigation. Let's get started.
Clayton Muni Air Park information Oscar. 1500 Zulu weather. Sky clear. Visibility 10. Temperature 21, dew point 9. Wind 190 at 17 gust 25, altimeter 3025. Arriving and departing runway 20. Advise on initial contact you have Oscar.
There's a pretty stiff breeze here at Clayton, and there's some weather down around Albuquerque where we're headed. So I'm going to be keeping a close eye on the weather reports as I travel. A lot of the commentary on this flight is recorded afterwards. When I was flying, the kids were being super noisy down in the basement, and I just wasn't able to have the mic on most of the time. Note that I now have a shiny new GPS in my airplane. Got that back at Clayton Municipal where we just left. Shout out to Woozy Air Service. Got me a great deal, saved about 10 grand on the install. So now I've got my flight plan set up. I can navigate down the airways a little easier. I'm going to cruise at about 10,500 because the terrain is getting pretty high. I'm going to record over this part of the video because the in-game microphone usage was really low. So I'm looking off to the right here and there's some hills starting to show up. We're not looking at just Kansas anymore. So we'll see more and more mountains as this flight progresses. It's not going to be quite as boring. It's kind of neat. I'm starting to see some features in the terrain here. Bellies and stuff washed. Neat. Got some big terrain features out there. It's not just flat anymore. It's getting a little more interesting. Finally something to look at.
Las Vegas Mini information pop-up. 1600 Zulu weather. Sky clear. Visibility more than 10. Temperature 18, dew point 8. Wind 180 at 17, altimeter 3033. Arriving and departing runway 20. Advise on initial contact you have pop-up.
I keep checking the weather because I can see off in the distance in the west there's weather. There's quite a bit of weather up north of me. So being a VFR, I want to keep a close eye on what's happening. So I'm now passing over Las Vegas, New Mexico, Lima Alpha Sierra. You can see there's a little town here. Making good progress. We're about 2/3 of the way down to Double Eagle, which is just west of Albuquerque. Scenery is getting a lot better. A little concerned about that weather off in the distance, though. That's not looking too good. Better check in and see what the weather's up to.
Albuquerque Double Eagle II information pop-up. 1600 Zulu weather. Sky condition 4500 scattered, 11,000 scattered, visibility 10. Temperature to 0, dew point 9. Wind 150 at 8, altimeter 3.
At this point, I decide I need to turn away from that rather large mountain up there that's about to be obscured by a cloud and lose a little altitude. Clouds are up around 11,000 feet, so they're right over my head. But X-Plane has other ideas. A weather update hits, and suddenly things aren't looking too rosy for this VFR pilot. I'm going to go back up and level off at 10.5. The clouds are right above my head at 11. It looks like a pretty consistent shelf, so I'm hoping I can just skim along underneath. I decide to head directly to the next waypoint aside, because I know between me and that waypoint there's no big mountains that will eat my airplane. It's worth noting I'm not a real pilot, so I'm probably doing stupid things, but this is a simulator. I've dropped down to 8,500 and I'm about to round the mountain here, so the airport should be in sight soon. Clouds are clearing up a little bit to the west, so I don't think weather's going to be a factor at this point, though it looked pretty scary there for a little bit. I ended up a little further west than I intended, but I eventually found the airport. Lined up for a short final, and the trip was over. I'm going to have to up my game once I get over into PilotEdge controlled airspace, because I haven't been doing the best job of flying.
Albuquerque Double Eagle II information Quebec. 1700 Zulu weather. Sky conditions 4500 scattered, 11,000 scattered, visibility 10. Temperature to 0, dew point 9. Wind 150 at 8, altimeter 302.
Okay, leg 5 is complete. Let's go see how much money we made. Everybody out. So you can see this flight was fairly profitable. Ended up with $424.80 in ground fees. Seems a lot. But that leaves us with $3,823.20. Not a bad little haul for this short of a flight. Just under 2 hours. I'll see you on the next leg.